we've got a lot to work on. It was a good break for the guys. It is a long season. You're reminded of that, especially when you're not playing as well as you want to play. So I'm happy that we had a break, that the guys were able to get away and get refreshed and refocused on what we got to do to get better. And in a lot of ways, kind of a new start with a conference starting after Christmas. So we're excited about the opportunity.
How much has it felt kind of like a new season? Obviously, the first part of it didn't go quite the way you guys had hoped. Now you kind of get a fresh chance.
Well, it's a process that you don't correct all of your deficiencies in one practice, but you have to take the steps in the right direction, and we've done that this week. I always, as the head coach and the coaching staff, you're always hard on yourself and the guys in terms of where we're at. We've got to continue to get better. That's the truth. We're doing some good stuff in spurts. We are settling in to an extent, but we've been exposed against good competition. I mean, we've played essentially four top 25 teams, and I talked to the team a lot yesterday. I had, Jim Richards came into practice yesterday and talked to the team a little bit, and it was interesting. I wanted them to hear another voice, just someone who's done it and been there around good teams and championship caliber teams, and same message, same things that we've been talking about, but it was good to hear a different voice. He told some interesting stories. He said one of his teams that was in the OVC back then started off 0-7 in conference and went on to win 7 straight and really go on a tear. So him talking about conference play and putting the stuff behind you and going forward was really interesting. And I also asked for his perspective of this team right now and what he sees out there on the floor and what has made teams great here in Western history, and all things I thought he would say. He said he talked about the effort that you got to put out there and the teamwork that you got to have, and those are all things that we're trying to correct and trying to get to. So it's been a process, but we are working to get some of our deficiencies in the right direction.
Was it a deal where he was brutally honest? I mean, did some guys, kind of?
Well, Jim's never brutally honest. You got to beat him down. He's such a great guy, and he said all the right things. And it's funny because he said, first of all, I didn't know he was stopping by practice, and it wasn't something I planned to do. But once he got there, I said, hey, it'd be nice after they stretch to maybe get a different voice, starting off the new conference season. And I know Jim, I knew he'd say good things, and he said exactly what I would want him to say. And after the talk, he said, Coach, you should have told me I was talking to the team. I would have, relayed your message, what you wanted said. I said, Jim, you said exactly what we've been saying for a long time, and it was great to hear another voice. He pointed out his Final Four ring and watch and said, hey, it's nice to, I'll never forget the memories of this season. We're having I think it was the 40th anniversary coming up from that era. He said, I still get goosebumps about it and still look at it as a great time. We can accomplish a lot going forward, especially with the new start in the conference play. So he said all the right things. He was great, but he was honest. Yeah. He was honest, and but he's not the kind of guy that's gonna mix it up like that. But he was honest.
That was something that last year when you brought Jim McDonald in later in the year, later than this, I think it was in late January, February, whatever it was, and he spoke with him. It seemed like it inspired him a little bit. How much does it help to bring in somebody like that from the past years that really does still care, and he's still around and really cares about this place, and to kind of reaffirm the thing you guys talk about a lot with the pride of just putting the uniform on and playing for the school?
Well, I think it's something that I really envision myself a Western Kentucky University basketball program at a level that I think the effort and the enthusiasm and the passion for it, I think as myself and the coaching staff look at it, we all have the same ideas in mind, and we all have the same vision. You have to almost impose your will on guys and break down habits. You know, that's the truth of the matter is we have to get guys to understand that and then try to break down the habits that they have and get them in the right direction, thinking the way you think. That's not easy, and you know, you do take you take a lot of pride in what you do. You want the players to do the same. A lot of them don't understand that, but your job as a coaching staff is to help them and manage them and get them into a functional championship unit. You know, that's the bottom line. And it's great to have those guys around. And they say it's great because they say the same things that we're saying as coaching staff. But it's also good to hear another voice. We had Jim in, talked to the team before Louisville, and it was great. And once again, second year in a row, maybe even third time I've had him speak. You could feel the enthusiasm coming out of his body, and you love that attitude, and you hope it rubs off on the guys. But once again, you go back and it's a different personality from a different era, and just a different person. You know, we have who we have, and we've got to continue to get better at what we got to get better at. That's the bottom line. And I'll take it back. You know, confidence is a factor. And with who we've played, we have not been able to generate confidence, especially string together any confidence. We haven't had a stretch of time where we've had opponents that we can gain some confidence. That's life. That's it. That's what we've put ourselves in that position, and hopefully it pays off come conference time. Would we have liked to knock off some of these guys and gain more confidence? And have we had our chances? Yes, we have. We have, but we haven't answered the bell in that area, and now it's time to do it in conference.
Last season, when the team hit a rough patch and folks were upset and all that sort of thing, it seemed like your message to them was more of an outright challenge. Maybe it is in this group. Are you, with this group, still trying to learn each other because it's so new? Last year, you had people come back. How are you handling it all? I mean, the fact that a bad loss at home, fans aren't happy, this type of thing. With this young group still, how is this being? I would imagine it's got to be a pretty delicate type situation.
Well, it's past that point. I think early in the season, you know, we tried to look at it as a process. I think right now it's more, we have to have more pride. You know, we have to have more expectations of ourselves. You know, if we're gonna, I talked to the team yesterday. We have put ourselves in position to play and be in big time games. We've had punches thrown at us, and we've had chances to respond and haven't. You know, what's it going to take? And we have to have a lot more pride with what we're doing as a team, and still understand that we need each other. We can't be on separate paths. We have to understand that every single person, no matter what role they play, every day they lace up, every time we put the uniform on, that we're going to need each other to get this thing done and going in the direction that we want. We had an opportunity in front of a great fan base on the 22nd and forget wins and losses, to get back to the energy level that we need to compete at a high level, because and to be honest, Louisville brought it. I mean, Louisville could have beaten a lot of teams in the country that night, but for about 15 minutes we seemed to have a pretty good idea of working together, working the game, and when things went south, once again, getting punched in the mouth a little bit, we have reverted back to habits that we're trying to get rid of, and that's, not playing together as a team on the offensive side, and not really understanding that our identity has to be defense and rebounding to give ourselves a chance. So,
is that a situation where pressure may build for some of these guys? I know you, as a coaching staff, don't get in the business of panicking after starting out 5-7, or panicking because fans are unhappy. But for those guys who hear it and are maybe a little more sensitive to it, does pressure start to mount a little bit for them to, or does pressure start to mount for you guys as a program to perform well in Sun Belt Conference play when it seems like, you know, the people that you talk about trying to represent are, you know, a little disgruntled at the way that the season has begun?
I think there's pressure always. You know, I want our guys to feel a little bit of pressure, and I want our guys to understand they got to perform under that pressure. If we had made a different schedule and you take away, say, two of the the top 25 programs that were playing, and you're 7-5 going into conference play, we probably have a little bit more confidence, but at the end of the day, is it really going to help us win a championship? Because these games aren't going to be easy. We're going to Arkansas State, and you know they're not a top 25 program right now, but they have played us tough as nails. We're going to get everybody's best shot in the conference. We're picked to win our side, so everybody will bring it. It's not going to help us get better because if you do that, you're not exposed to your weaknesses. Now, we've missed our opportunities, so the pressure part I actually like. What I don't like is under that pressure already, we have not responded or improved or said, okay, enough is enough. We're all going to do what we need to do to win basketball games. And that's where we're at. That's where, you know, there's certain parts of Nick's blog that, you know, he's pretty brutally honest about us, you know, last weekend that I enjoyed. Some I didn't enjoy because I didn't think they were on point, but he was right on a lot of things. And that's where we've been patient, but we've seen enough of the you know, consistency or lack of consistency that's getting us beat right now. We've got to get better in a lot of areas. And that's the part that you got to understand.
Is there something with it too where we talk to you and you talk to us about it, and I know you talk to the team about expectations of the program from former players, former coaches, from you guys, from fans, everybody else. Is it something to where with 7 new players that haven't been around that long, they don't really realize maybe how high they were? Because if you guys go and play Louisville and lose by 1 and play the best game you played all season, there's going to be people that leave the building, they're going to be mad. Is it something to where they're starting to understand that this is expectations here are really that high to a level that, you know, it needs to get.
I think there are, and one thing to point out, you know, I think the consistency of a program, you know, you have guys that have been here a long time. I think we do have several classes that are not guys that have consistently been here, and understanding that, you know, Stefan Pettigrew's been here through a lot of Western Kentucky basketball games and around Western Kentucky fans, and understanding the level of play that we expect. You know, he's been a part of, you know, some championship teams. He's been a part of NCAA teams. You know, that is different. I asked everybody to raise their hand in the room the other day when we were watching film. I said, how many guys have won a championship? And I think only 2 guys raised their hand. So that is part of it. But you know, talk is cheap after a certain point. You know, you have to teach, and you have to figure out what motivates guys. But you know, like Jim Richards talks to the team yesterday, and he's saying the same exact things that the coaching staff's been saying since the summer. You know, so there has to be a response, and I'll get back to, we've had enough inconsistency to understand that's not going to get it done for us. And you want the guys to just be about winning and teamwork. And it's been enough time to settle in, and I do have expectations that these guys take it to another level come conference play. That's why this week was an important week. That's why, you know, it's important as a coaching staff and a fan base to never get too high, never get too low. And trust me, the coaching staff at times and myself, we're low enough, you know, about, you know, we had an opportunity in front of 8,000 plus fans on the 22nd, and too many of those people walked away not excited about Western Kentucky basketball. We have to change that. The guys in the locker room have to change that. That's not going to come by any marketing campaign or any, you know, anything like that. That has to be the guys understanding, okay, let's take it up a notch. Let's completely understand the consistency we got to bring it with. Let's create an identity. We don't have an identity right now. So that's what we're working hard to try to correct.
Are your problems